Hello everyone, I'm Miss Chanel, language success coach, and today we're going to look at secrets to contextual dialogue. Stop it. Right, so we're going to look at secrets to contextual dialogue. Now, I know many students for Spanish. Oh, and by the way, this information can work for you if you're studying French or Portuguese for the exam, because I'm just giving you facts. I'm just giving you strategy. If you are not aware, Spanish, French, and Portuguese are all under the same syllabus. It's the exact same, not the exact same exam, but the exact same types of questions that come. So the exact same strategies can work for the exam. When? So for contextual dialogue, if you're not familiar with what this is section 3 in the paper 2 exam for modern languages, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and you actually get a series of blanks in a sorry, you get a conversation, and in that conversation there are a series of blanks. So basically, one person you get their dialogue, and the other person you don't get their dialogue. All right, and you have to fill in the missing dialogue. Now, most of my learners over the last 7 years have said that they love contextual dialogue and they hate letter. And to be honest, to me, letter and contextual dialogue are basically nearly the same thing. You know what? Maybe I'm being unfair because I'm a teacher and I speak Spanish, yay. But when I look at the exam, contextual dialogue can be a little trickier because, like letter, it does come on a specific like theme or topic, but with contextual dialogue, you're forced to respond to someone. So your responses only make sense if they match the conversation as well. So how do you get it to match the conversation? And that's what I'm going to help you with, okay? So of course you want to always read your examples because you always want to read your instructions because your instructions give you the information. In fact, all the clues and cues are in the instructions. All right, so first thing is that you know that this is supposed to be a dialogue between 80 to 100 words, and they do let you know who are the people having the interaction. So this is Jan 2023 that I'm looking at. It's a dialogue between you and your mother, right? In what's the other one I have up? In May, June 2022, it was a dialogue between you and a well-known cricketer. And in May, June 21, it was a dialogue between your brother Paolo and your father. So there were years, I don't know if they're changing it totally, but there were years where it was two random people. It's not between you and somebody else. It's two named characters. But in 22, 23, they actually said, hey, it's between you and this other person. So when you figure out who you are having the conversation with, you're going to figure out what type of relationship you have. And that tells you what kind of what type of pronouns you would use, right? In terms of you and the cricketer, you're going to be polite, usted. You're not going to be tutearing this cricketer. Who's that? Is that your friend? No, it's not your friend. You and your mom, again, depending on the context you see here, I would say with parents, you could err to the side of being fully polite or fully familiar. I prefer to use polite though, just to be safe for the exam. It doesn't mean it's wrong if you're familiar. What would be wrong is if you're polite in one response and then you're using two in the other. That would be really weird. So you want to stick to one, and I recommend polite form instead, right? So that's the first clue that you get about your contextual dialogue. Then there's this little paragraph in between that first instruction where they let you know that it must be in Spanish. You didn't know it has to be in the foreign language? Yes, you're not going to write any English here. In case you were not sure, no English in this section, okay? Glad to let you know. And they let you know it's between 80 to 100 words. I'll give you a tip for that as well, for tracking the word count, okay? But there's this little paragraph, and in Jan 2023, it says, you and your mother are discussing an upcoming birthday party You have been invited to attend over the weekend. You discuss what has to be done before you can attend, including homework and gift buying. This little paragraph is very, very important because it gives you clues. Why are those clues important? Those clues let you know, they let you know what the context of the situation is about, what is really happening in this particular interaction. When you have those clues, CLUES, when you have those clues, you are better able to understand what you have to put in to the dialogue. So that's what they help you. Let's look at May June 2022. May June 2022 is a dialogue between yourself and a well-known cricketer. The clues you're given in that paragraph, this is a very short paragraph. You have got a chance to interview a well-known cricketer. You got a chance. This is a major opportunity. Write a dialogue between the two of you giving his or her responses. And they gave you the option of making the cricketer male or female, right? If I go to May, June 2021, this is between your brother Paolo and your father. Your brother Paolo needs to apply to university to continue his studies. Write a conversation between your brother and your father, giving your brother's responses. So you get to get an idea of the situation. Now, we are going to the section below, which is numbered, it's listed, normally with Roman numerals. And in that section, this is where you get the cues for the dialogue. This section is even more important because you are going to be marked according to these cues. Have you included all 5 of these cues? And I think every year is 5. Yes, it's 5 in every single year, right? So you get 5 cues. If I go to Jan 2023, this is the one with the birthday party. You're coming birthday party and you're discussing things with your mom. And it's excitement to go to the birthday party with your friends. Information about the party. Discussion about finishing your homework. Discussion about what you will wear and what gift you will buy. And plans to go shopping to get a gift. So this is the information that needs to be in your responses. Now what you will need to do is, and this is a process I normally recommend for my learners, and I've been doing this particular process more or less for the last 7 years. So this is what you do first. You read the entire dialogue. So in this case, in Jan 2023, it's only Mama's responses. You don't have a response. So you read the responses and you translate it to make sure you understand what Mama is saying. And as you go through the responses, I actually always count the number of responses as well. So let me see how many responses that you're supposed to include in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 responses. 8 responses, and this is my tip for the word count here. So you have to do 8 responses, and it's 80 to 100 words. So that means more or less maybe 8 to 10 words per response. Now that's just a guide, because depending on how you have to reply or start the conversation, sometimes you don't even need 8 to 10 words. So that's just a guide for you, okay? So you figure out what the dialogue that exists is about. You translate it. You now know what that is about. At least you should know what it is about, right? What you do next is you go and check the cues 1 to 5 and you see where you put them. Because, and again, it has some fluctuations in this over the years. There's a really crazy year. I can't remember the year. I think it's either 2018, 2019, maybe 2017. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. But the cues were not in order. In one of them, it seemed that the cues were not in order, right? So what you need to do, you need to make sure, where do you put your cues? So do you put Q1, excitement to go to the birthday party with your friends? Is that your first response and your second response, or is it just your first response? You need to figure that out, because you don't have like 8 blanks. You don't have blank spots. Sometimes some of these, like discussion about your homework, discussion about what you will wear, sometimes they may go to more than 1 blank response. So what I tell my learners to do, my Spanish writers, you actually want to go by each blank response and you put which number. So if the first one is still Roman numeral 1, excitement, you put Right. So in this one, the first response is Jan 2023. First response is Q1 excitement. And they gave you exclamation marks and then they gave you a question. So your excitement needs to be exclamatory and then it needs to be a question. But it's still your excitement. Fun stuff, right? And then when you go to the second blank response, that's actually full on Q2 information about the party. So the third one is also still Q2 information about the party. The fourth becomes Q3. All right. So when you do that, you tend to know, okay, these are the responses that have to go in these sections. All right. And when you're done with that, you can go ahead and write all you need to be concerned about once you've figured out your responses. I'm so sorry, did I forget that? You need to figure out your responses. They must be accurate to the cue and accurate to match the dialogue that exists, right? Then you just write and you make sure that you're within word limit and you're perfectly fine. So for me, contextual dialogue is actually easier than letter to a certain degree, but because you have to match the dialogue, to me it's trickier. Because this first one in 2023 Jan, where you have to be excited about the party and it's an exclamation and then a question, but it's excitement. And what does Mama say? Mama says, puedo comprender lo entusiasmada que estás y claro puedo decir, Ana es buena amiga tuya desde hace muchos años. ¿Cuándo es la celebración? Right? So it's like, what do you say? Dios mío. That would actually probably be, is that a good word? Dios mío. Oh no, qué sorpresa. Que my favorite que expression is que lástima. That's really horrible, right? But qué fenomenal, I think. No puedo esperar para ir a la fiesta. Oh no. No. Okay, that could be my exclamation. And then what's my question? Puedo asistir a la fiesta. Could be my question to Mama, or to match it. Puedes entender mi deseo para atender. That sounds kind of weird, but that sounds like something you all might write. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to make it make sense to you guys, right? But it's like you have to match it. That first one is really hella crazy, but you have to make it work, okay? So that's why I say dialogue is a little trickier. So I'm not saying that it's tricky to make you discouraged. I'm just trying to point out that I hope you guys practice it seriously. A lot of Spanish students get so worried about orals and completely forget paper 2 exists. Paper 2 is where you get most of your marks. Sort of. The marking, the profiles for Spanish are really, really crazy because it's 4 profiles and it's cut across all 3 papers, right? But you do get you get the majority of your writing profile here. You get nearly your full writing profile here. So you get writing, I think you get some of reading here. So that's 2 profiles. You still need to do really, really well in this in order to ensure that you get a good mark. And of course, I understand some of you have been suffering with Spanish. I totally understand that. You all have not been given a really pleasant experience. Even so, I want you to do your best and get a good mark, because that mark is going to stay on your profile. Your certificate, yeah, it's going to stay there. So there was subject that I had that I no longer enjoyed when I wrote, and I was just there to like, I just want a good mark. So I was horrible at maths. I was failing maths. I was failing history. I was failing bio. I didn't even think I was going to do well in Spanish, to be honest, because I had a rough foundation in foreign languages when I went to school. We had issues with teachers. So, but those were still coming along. But the subjects that I started to just put the effort in too, although I didn't like them, because of teachers, I didn't like what was happening with my teachers. They, I got a two. I took that too. I took that too. I'm glad, right? So you, even if you are having trouble with this, just put in the effort and get it done. If your teachers are still around and they are doing work with you and they are welcoming assignments, see which one of your teachers can take a look at these questions and correct them and give you proper feedback. If you're looking for feedback, I'm also doing feedback which is not freemium like this. So it's if it is you wanted, but that is available and you can message me on Facebook or Instagram to get that. Okay, so this is the end of this live. I hope it was informative, and of course if you have any more questions about Spanish or even English, because I do English here, that you need me to answer, simply comment, or if you're very shy, message me privately and I'll do my best to do a video on that. As always, this is sent in love and with success. Take care. Bye bye.